You know, one of the things that happens when we grow radishes in the garden is that we plant them and they all come off at the same time, even if we try to kind of split up our planting date. And joining us today is Barb Brown. And Barb, you are going to show us some alternative ways to use radishes. What are we going to do today?
Well, we're going to make steamed greens and radishes. And this is something that's a little different because it's actually a cooked radish, which most of us never even consider doing with at least a red radish. Right. Some of us had daikon and things like that cooked, but this is a little bit new. It's fairly easy, it's straightforward. You take your greens. Today we're using spinach and beet greens because that's what we had available. If you had other kinds, mustard greens or whatever, you might need to adjust the cooking time. You wash them well, and that means really well because particularly the spinach has a lot of nooks and crannies in it.
And just fresh water again.
Fresh water. You may need several changes of fresh water to actually get them clean. Fill the pan up basically as full as you can, and then press it down. They're going to collapse, and about 1.5 pounds of greens is going to give you 4 to 6 servings, so that they really do compress during cooking. I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of water. Now, with some kinds of greens, you need to add very little water because they retain it in the crannies. Spinach is one you can actually cook without even adding any additional water to it. I'm adding about 3/4 to a cup of radishes here. We're going to put the lid on that and put it on the stove and let it come to a boil. And then we'll turn it down and let it simmer for about 10 minutes or until whatever kind of green you're using would be done. Basically, the radishes are just going to be crisp steamed so that they won't get extremely soft. Once the greens are tender, then we need to drain them because there will be excess water there, partly because we added a little bit extra and partly because so much comes out during the cooking process. Steve, if you go ahead and press a little bit of that extra liquid out, you could either do it this way or you could wait for it to drain, but we want to keep them as hot as possible, so we're going to push it a little bit ahead of time. Radishes are not extremely well known to be high in calories. In fact, they are very low. They are good sources of potassium, however, so that there is some nutritional benefit from eating large amounts of radishes this way.
We still have some.
Now we're going to just dump this out on the plate. And then we're going to combine a couple of other ingredients together for seasonings. Now we want to keep the sodium content low, so we have just a small amount of salt. We also have a little bit of pepper and some lemon juice, and those you can pretty much do to taste. And then we'll just shake those up to blend them together real well and pour them over the top. Now you could also serve this on the side in case somebody doesn't like the lemon juice flavor, but this also keeps the fat content real low. These are things that normally have very little fat content in them. And adding a lot of fat to them doesn't make a lot of sense from a nutrition standpoint. So we're looking for ways to not only use the radishes up, but keep the fat content low also, as well.
Well, we talked about nutrition. What kind of nutrition do we have for the radishes? Is that pretty healthy for us? Or?
The radishes are low in calories, so that they're good for that reason. They're also high in potassium. Now, as far as other nutrients go, because they're high water content, they're also not real high in a lot of other things either.
And Barb, you said when we purchase them, if they're sold with tops on them, or if you harvest them that way, we need to cut those off.
Right, because those tops will continue to grow and will pull the meat of the radish out of it and reduce the size of the radish and also reduce the quality.
Now you've got another one here too, don't you?
Right, now this one is sort of a salad radish, or a radish salad dish. We've taken radishes, sliced them thin, and put some salt over them to crisp them up a little bit. And then drain the liquid away after about an hour, put them in the refrigerator with about 1/4 cup of vegetable oil that we warmed up so that it would soak in, and a little bit of onion, and let them sit for 2 to 3 hours, and they'll have a salady type flavor.
Okay. Why don't you recap the recipe for us, Barb?
We'll be happy to. It's 1.5 pounds of fresh greens, about 1 cup of radishes cleaned and thinly sliced, 1/4 cup water, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, 1/4 cup salt, and 1/8 teaspoon pepper. Rinse the greens under cold water and pat them dry. Place the greens, radishes, and 1/4 cup water in a large pan. Cover and cook over medium heat for about 10 minutes or until tender. Drain well, transfer to a serving bowl or plate. Combine lemon juice, salt, and pepper, and pour over the greens and toss well.
Well, Barb, we appreciate it. That's a great ideas for alternatives in using radishes. And again, if you didn't get that recipe, you can stop by your county extension office and they'll have a copy of it as well. And Barb, thanks again.
Thank you, Steve.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.